Hi, welcome to my primary HPE podcast. I'm really excited to share a snapshot of my PDHPE journey this semester, which will include the highlights, the challenges, and the important lessons that are helping me become a better teacher in the future. Let's get started. So, let's start with the basics. Why is PDHPE such an important subject in our schools?
That's a good question. I think a lot of people still think of PE as just running around with the ball or doing laps.
Exactly, it's a lot more than just a game. The NISA 2018 PDHPE K-10 syllabus really focuses on helping the whole child, not just their physical skills, but also their health, ability to make good choices, and ability to build respectful relationships.
Yeah, that's something people don't always know. It's not just about doing things.
Yes, and what's great is that it connects to other areas of learning as well. To get better at reading and writing, students can explain strategies or talk about health vocabulary. When they measure results or make sense of data in games, they are using their math skills, and ICT helps them investigate health apps and learn how to stay safe on the internet. So PDHPE isn't just about moving around, it's also about learning how to work together, solve problems, and think critically. It helps them with these essential traits which make young people resilient and capable.
So we know that PDHPE is more than just exercises to get fit. But what about the ways we teach? I heard of the game sense approach. What does that mean?
Yes, the game sense approach or GSA is a very new way to teach PE. Instead of doing the same drills over and over, students learn by playing modified games that feel more like real play. Light 2013 talks about how this method keeps students interested while also helping them, learn skills in real life situations that matter. Solving problems and making quick decisions is also a very essential aspect of GSA. That's why Pill and colleagues 2022 state this that this approach keeps all students engaged, not just the ones that are sports minded. It is also a great way to teach students. For example, in a small-sided game, students are encouraged to pass, work as a team, and then we pause to reflect on what strategies worked. That tied directly into the PDHPE syllabus strands like movement skills and valuing movement. So students are not just learning how to move, but why movement matters. And the best part, you can change things like the size of the team, the space, or the rules to make sure everyone feels welcome and confident. PDHPE really comes to life when students feel like they belong, when students feel confident and included. That's when PDHPE really shines.
Okay, let's get into the tutorials. What did you like most about the second theory session?
The second theory session, we talked about PDHPE and how it's related to cross-curriculum priorities. One example of this is learning about Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander history, culture, sustainability, and understanding people from other cultures. I realized that PDHPE is such a vast topic, but its core is about respect, empathy, and cultural awareness. The NISA 2018 syllabus says that PDHPE helps people develop not only their physical skills but also their personal and social skills. One question from the health, well-being, and relationship strands asks students to think about how diversity affects relationships and the health of the community. That really helped me understand how PDHPE can change how kids see themselves and others. It's not just about sports. Nelson and colleagues 2010 also gave me a lot of good ideas. They show how indigenous games can help people from different cultures understand each other better. That really stuck with me, because it reminded me that I'm not just teaching movement, I'm helping to make people who are kind and respectful. For my professional growth, this tutorial made me think more creatively, which helped me grow in my profession. I want to make lessons that celebrate differences by connecting movement activities to cultural traditions or environmental themes. It made me remember that every PDHPE class is a chance to think about bigger ideas like respect, fairness, and sustainability. That's what makes it such important learning. It's not just about fun.
What about week nine's theory tutorial? That one covered some pretty sensitive ground.
Oh, yeah. It focused on sexual health education and how to handle controversial topics in primary schools. What really struck me was how important it is to stick to the syllabus. For example, Stage 2 teaches students about things like puberty, feelings, and relationships, but it did not talk about conception or contraception. If we go beyond that, parents might complain or even take legal actions against us. So it's really about keeping both students and teachers safe. We also talked a lot about how to be sensitive to other people's cultures and religions. There may be topics that are off limits in some schools, especially those that are based on religion. As teachers, we need to know what those limits are. OLIS 2014 says that teachers need to get the right professional development in order to teach sexuality education well. This really made me think about how important it is for us teachers to do our job really well. Unexpected questions from students are always a challenge, but instead of ignoring them, I can acknowledge it, give a simple answer that is appropriate for their age, and if necessary, tell them to talk to their parents. It also made me realize how important it is to talk to families clearly. Even sometimes, as simple as sending home an information sheet at the start of the term can make a huge difference. So, PDHP is not just about teaching facts, it's about being professional, knowing about different cultures, and making sure students have safe, respectful place to learn. I believe when we discuss sensitive subjects in a good way, it builds trust not only between us and our students, but with their parents as well. And that's very important.
Let's move on to the practical side. Please tell me about the first time you played indigenous games.
This one was really a high point for me. My group taught the class how to play an Aboriginal game called Keen-Tan. At first, it was just a fun thing to do, but as we got into it, I realized how important it is to change and adapt games so that everyone can play and feel like they belong. During the session, we got some great feedback from the class, things like how to manage behavior and ways to make the game more accessible. That back and forth really boosted my confidence in leading PE activities, and it reminded me how valuable student input is when creating inclusive learning experience. It ties in perfectly with the Valuing Movement strand, NESA 2018, which focuses on cultural appreciation and participation. Nelson, Abbott, and McDonald 2010 talk about how Indigenous games do more than just get kids active. They help build respect for culture and history, which is such a powerful outcome. From what I've learned in the past, the most important thing I've learned for my career is that PE isn't just about getting better at things. It's about teaching kids about other cultures, making sure everyone feels like they belong, and showing respect. I'll pay more attention to the students who need extra help from now on. I might do this by changing the pace, giving them different roles, and making the rules easier. This way, every child has a chance to do well. This prac really drove home the point that inclusion isn't a bonus, it's the main point of PDHPE.
The second prac was the AFL session, right?
Yes, the AFL facilitators came in and showed us how to teach through games. This was a very hands-on and interesting way to do it. We watched them to do it first, then we split up into groups and tried it ourselves. What really stood out to me was how much emphasis they placed on modifying games so that every student could get involved and feel, successful. They introduced us to the Change It model, which stands for coaching style, how to score areas, numbers, game rules, equipment, inclusion, and time. And Dyson Griffin and Hasty 2004 discuss how this kind of tactical and cooperative approach makes PE more interesting and useful. Casey and Goodyear 2015 also talk about how cooperative learning helps students, kids, learn not only the physical skills but also social and cognitive skills. This makes the learning experience a lot better. For me, the biggest takeaway was having a practical framework I can use straight away in the classroom just by readjusting small things such as equipment, space, and the rules. Every student can be, made to feel like they can participate and achieve success in the activity. And this is what inclusive teaching is all about.
So after this journey, the theory, the practice, and the reflection, how do you feel about teaching PDHPE now?
Looking back on the semester, I've realized that PDHPE is more than just teaching kids how to move. It's really about helping the whole child grow in their relationships, their values, their physical abilities, and their confidence. The tutorials taught me a lot of theory and gave me a lot of practice so I could see how this works in real classrooms. I feel like I've built a toolkit that helps me teach with both confidence and care. Tools such as dealing with sensitive topics, for example, sexual health, and learning how to bring in cross-curriculum priorities. These tools will help me in making every student feel included. I've also seen how theory and practice work together. The games sense approach, cooperative learning strategies, and cultural views on games all have to do with what the syllabus NESA 2018 talks about we should do. Make learning that is welcoming, interesting, and important. To be honest, I'm really, really excited and I'm ready to teach PDHPE. I know there will be challenges and there will be problems, but I also know that I have the skills, strategies, and attitude to help my students not only move but grow. Thanks for tuning in, and that's the end of my primary HPE podcast. Have a good weekend ahead.